Shaquan Show.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in to the Shaquan Show, the only place where normalcy is not necessary, but flourishing within your means is. Welcome back to another episode of Hey There. Nice to meet you. All right, so if you've been rocking with me, then hey, what's up? And if you're new here, hi, hello, hey there, nice to meet you. I am your host, Shaquan, and today we are talking about something that every single one of us has had to deal with on this trip called life. Today, we are talking about forgiving what's hard to forget. Breathe in, breathe out. We are going to get through this episode just fine. I promise. I'm talking to myself too, okay? Before I move forward, though, I do have to give a quick shout out to my homegirl, Kenyatta. She doesn't know that she gave me the idea for this episode. She hit me up earlier today just to share how much some of these episodes have been really digging into her life and reading her mail, and just really challenging her growth and healing in a good way. And so while she was talking, I had this idea to do an episode on forgiveness. Now, this one is heavy because I don't feel like it's something that we can just talk about in one episode. I feel like there's so much more to talk about. And so I'm going to keep digging. And if, when we get to the end of this, if I feel like there's some more to talk about, then I'll do another episode on it. And if not, that's okay too. And if something sparks while you're listening to this, please hit me up and let me know, because I'm always here for a new idea, something new to talk about. I want to make sure that what I'm talking about is fruitful for you all that's listening. Again, it's not just my space, it's our space. Okay. So like I said, breathe in, breathe out. We are going to be talking about forgiving what's hard to forget. Let's get into it. All right. So I want to start this out with a little pop quiz. Okay. Y'all ready? When was the last time somebody hurt you? And I'm not talking just like in a petty surface way. I mean, hurt you to your core. When was the last time somebody talked to you in a way that you did not deserve? When was the last time someone treated you in a way that did not match the relationship you thought you had with them? When was the last time that someone just did you straight up dirty, just wrong? For some of you listening, your answer might be, girl, not that long ago. I'm talking and I'm telling y'all, listen, it wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was last week. Maybe it was last month. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it was this morning before you even turned on this podcast. For others, your mind might go all the way back to, years ago, maybe even decades, but you can still remember everything about that moment. You can remember what day it was, what the weather was like, what side of the bed you woke up on, what you were wearing, where you were standing, what their face looked like in that moment, because the wound is that deep. Here is what I know about life, the little time that I have had here on this earth. Nobody gets through it without being wounded by people, because people will inevitably, did I say that word right? Inevitably, it is inevitable that people will people. That is what you can count on. People will people. And when people start the peopling, in comes offense. Jesus himself said in Luke 17 that it is impossible to go through life and not face offense. So if you haven't faced offense, if you've never been offended, don't worry, it's coming down your block. And not because you're weak, not because you are just so dramatic, but because you are people. and you live with people and you're surrounded by people and you do life with people. So offense is inevitable. But here's the part we don't like to talk about. Staying offended is optional. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, that was for me. I told y'all we are going through this together. Okay? Staying offended is optional. And the enemy loves to use offense as the tool to break us down. He's not trying to ruin your mood, not trying to hold you hostage. He wants the hurt to be so deep that you live your whole life from that place, stuck in past pain, stuck in anger, stuck in bitterness, stuck replaying what happened instead of pursuing the future that God has for you. Unforgiveness is like dragging around an overstuffed suitcase that you refuse to open. It's heavy, it's ugly, and it's keeping you stuck at the gate while everyone else is boarding. I want to clear something up early on, because a lot of us were never taught this. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this since I learned it. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. For the folks in the back, forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. Say it with me. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. You can forgive someone and still not go back to the same relationship that you had before. Forgiveness is something you do in your heart before God. Reconciliation is two people agreeing to build trust and walk together again. So sometimes after an offense, the relationship can be repaired with time, with honesty, with boundaries, maybe with some counseling, but it's with both people doing the work together. And then sometimes after an offense, the relationship cannot go back to what it was. And that doesn't make you less Christian. God doesn't love you less. Jesus doesn't regret dying for you, right? I remember back this happened in 2005. Yes, in 2005. In fact, this happened in May. Actually, in May of 2005. Wow. This happened in May of 2005. I remember having to forgive Ori's biological father for beating me up. I never held a grudge against him. I never pursued any, maybe I should have, but I never pursued any charges. But after that ordeal, he also never knew my address. In 2011, when I was finally able to tell him that I'd forgiven him truly and fully, I told him to move on with his life and be a good father to his other children and be a good man to their mother. And I meant that. God's hand of provision had not slipped throughout that entire time and still hasn't slipped to this day. So you're allowed to say, hey, I forgive you. I'm not holding this over you, but we are never going back to how it used to be. It is impossible. And I stand on that. I stand on that. You can forgive and still decide you don't get access to me the way that you used to. You can forgive and still block their number. You can forgive and not exchange addresses. You can forgive and still choose not to invite them into certain places of your life. Forgiveness does not automatically mean that we're good, like nothing happened. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is release the offense and release the expectation that the relationship has to be restored. And here's the second piece to that. Even when reconciliation is possible, you can't rush it. You can't rush it. It takes time, especially when you're the one who messed up. It's when you're the one that messed up, it's easy to want the other person to hurry up and heal and get over it and forgive you. You might even pull the, oh, well, I thought that you were more Christian than that. I don't know what people say. Oh, and you call yourself a Christian. I don't know, whatever card they pull. But healing takes time. Trust takes time. Safety takes time. Because of what happened to me back in 2005, I still am huge on the safety of my home here in 2025. That's how scarred I am, even to this day. Even to this day, my husband will tell you that I have always picked where we live because my number one focus has always been safety and security. Always. But like I said, safety takes time. Especially when you are the one that has offended, you cannot demand a timeline on someone else's process. You can't. I remember when I finally told him that I had forgiven him. This is exactly how y'all, my filter be slim to none. I just started working on my filter like in my mid 30s, but I told him, I said, I forget exactly how he asked me or what he asked me in particular. I think he asked if we could meet up, if he could visit or something. I'm not quite sure. And I told him, no, that will never be a thing. And he says, why? And I told him, I said, 'cause you beat me up. And he goes, well, you don't have to say it like that. Like, well, then what is it? How am I supposed to say it? That's what happened. Fast forward years later, we have had conversations, and I'm not shy about that, because why do I have to be shy about it? No, that is what happened. And I know you don't want to hear it. I know the truth sucks, but it is what it is. And it's not to like hold it over his head. It's not to hold him under arrest to that offense. If he asks me a crazy question, I have to give an answer that sounds just as crazy, but it's true, right? So when you say like, hey, I was thinking, can we hang out? 'Cause you beat me up. I do not want to hang out with you ever again in my life. And when I think back to all of my past relationships, I have never looked back. I haven't had a lot of boyfriends in my life. I've had two. I've had three. So I had my first boyfriend when I was in 7th grade. I had my second boyfriend when I graduated. I had my second boyfriend, which was Ori's biological father. And then my third boyfriend was in 2006. Yeah, that was in 2006. And then I met my husband, and we lived happily ever after. Or we're still living happily ever after, should I say. But yeah, so I just want to let's settle this part in our hearts. Every relationship will not be restored. The ones that can be restored may take a little longer than we want, but in both situations, forgiveness is still required. Doesn't matter if you were the one that was offended, or if you're the one that offended. Forgiveness is required in both. So let's talk about how unforgiveness actually shows up in real life, because unforgiveness is sneaky. It is so sneaky, because you can just be like living your life, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like a nap, it just like, where did this come from? I swear I was not thinking about you. I swear I was over you, over it, whatever that was. I'm done with it. But unforgiveness doesn't always look like I hate them and I want them to suffer. that's too easy. That's too easy. Sometimes it looks like you bringing up what they did every time their name comes up. Maybe it's you needing everybody else to know the real them, quote unquote. Maybe it's you getting irritated when other people like the person that hurt you. Ooh, I need to take a pause. I need to take a pause for a second because, I thought I was writing this for somebody else. I am on my own block right now. I am on my own block, shooting up the crib right now. Maybe it's you replaying the situation in your head over and over like a movie, or maybe feeling tense in your body whenever you see them or you hear their name. Listen, don't get me started. Especially if y'all work together, or if y'all go to the same church. Lord, because even at work, maybe you can get transferred, right? You can go somewhere else. You can stay in your office or your cubicle and maybe only have to deal with them, I don't know, once a month, just at a meeting, at a virtual meeting. But when y'all go to the same church, Lord, let me tell you, because I know what that feels like. And it's rough. It's rough. I just learned last year how to be okay. Because usually when some type of offense happens in church, people are so quick to leave. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for leaving. You're okay. That's your prerogative. You are welcome to do that. What do you do though when both of y'all love that church? You can do your best to stay away from one another, try not to walk down the same halls. What happens when there's only one hall at your church? You know what I'm saying? What do you do? You can go to different services. I mean, we do have 3 different services now at our church. So you don't necessarily have to come in contact with the person that offended you or that you may have offended. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's an option. That is an option. But even with having those lovely obstacles there's still this hard truth that still remains, which is that an unforgiving heart will slowly turn you into someone that even you don't like. So you become heavy, you lose sleep, you become the negative one, you become suspicious of everybody. You become the person who always has a story about who did them wrong. And most people don't want to sit next to that energy for too long. It's what's the word? It's draining. It's tiring. You can be gifted and still be bitter. You can be so anointed and still be angry. You can be used by God and still carry such resentment in your heart. But you will start to notice that your relationships will become more shallow. Your joy becomes more fragile. Your peace is more distant. Not because God left you, but because bitterness is taking up all of the space. Have you ever met someone who is just mean for no reason, just upset all the time? Something is always wrong. Oh my goodness. Does anything great ever happen in your life? Or you ever met someone that always has a problem with people? They're always telling you about what so-and-so did or why so-and-so is not a good person or whatever the case may be. It's like, oh my goodness. Do you have friends? Do you want friends? Let's just start there. Do you want friends? Listen, unforgiveness will cost you relationships that are actually healthy, because you're still protecting old pain. Yeah, I talked about this in a few episodes before when I talked about the Bag Lady with Erykah Badu's song. Bag lady, you gon' hurt your back. Right? Carrying all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you what you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. You will mess around and lose an answered prayer, all because you are not willing to let go of this offense. I heard a pastor say this, and it was, oh my goodness, it's an ouch. I'm going to say it. It is going to be an ouch. I'm letting you know right now. So breathe in, breathe out. You're going to be just fine. But he said, an unforgiving heart is also an ungrateful heart. Jesus. Oh my goodness. An unforgiving heart is also an ungrateful heart. We're not ready. We're not ready. We're not ready. When we focus all of our energy on what they did, when we focus all of our energy on that offense, we lose sight of what God has done, is doing, still wants to do. So yes, they betrayed you. They left you. Yep. They lied on you. They ruined your reputation, right? They said something that you said that you know for sure without a shadow of a doubt that you did not say. They broke your heart. But in the middle of all that, did God still take care of you? I'm a witness. Hard, yes. Absolutely, yes, he did. Did he still provide? Yes, he did. Did he still send people to love on you? Yes. Did he still open doors? Yep. Did he still wake you up day after day, to include today, with brand new grace and mercy? Sometimes we are so locked in on the offense that we forget the evidence of God's goodness that came after the hurt. So we remember the breakup, but we don't remember the breakthrough that followed. We remember the disrespect, but we don't remember the protection that covered us. We remember the closed doors, but we forget about the better door that opened after that. So here's the question. Are you more attached to what they did than you are grateful for what God has done for you, is doing for you, still wants to do for you? I'm not saying that what happened was okay. I guess I'm asking you to refuse to let their behavior define your entire story. Their hurt can never cancel God's plan for you. Period. So I think the big question for our time here together is, what is forgiveness then? What is forgiveness really? Because we do have a very clear and thorough and true example of forgiveness. Jesus showed us unconditional forgiveness. Forgiveness that has no strings attached. You know what? Let me take a moment to pause here, because I just take a moment to thank God that I'm not your Jesus, because I'm thanking God that you're not my Jesus. Because we come with conditions. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll wait. God is liable to ask, are you willing to die for such and such, so and so, whoever? Here we go to stuttering. I don't know. I gotta see. I don't know. You might have to get somebody else to do it, because people get to peopling, and when people start peopling, oh, I'm done. Nah, you're gonna have to get somebody else to do that. Where's the lie? None found. Let's move on. But forgiveness. I don't believe that forgiveness is saying that it didn't hurt. I think instead forgiveness is saying that, yes, it did hurt, but it will not own me for the rest of my life. It's not pretending that you're fine with everything. Forgiveness is choosing not to retaliate, even though you could. You could. But then there comes that part where you have to choose your reward. Because there's the reward that comes when you receive the gratification of doing what you wanted to do, which is blast them, make them look just as crazy as they made you, right? You can have the receipts and share the receipts, but that will be your reward. Or you can hand it over to God and let him deal with it and let him provide your reward. You don't have to lose boundaries just because you forgive. I think that forgiving is releasing the desire to keep the person that offended you emotionally indebted to you. Does that make sense? So you're not holding it over their head or constantly becoming a victim all over again anytime you're in their presence or whatever. Forgiveness essentially is just like handing the case over to God and saying, you know what, Lord, you are the only righteous one in all of this between the both of us. Yes, they did me wrong, but you're still the only righteous judge. So I'm not going to sit here and be the prosecutor and the jury for the rest of my life. I'm placing this in your hands so I can finally travel light. You have to think about if this thing, this offense, this hurt is something that you're willing to die for. And if it is not, let it go. Give it to God. I know it sounds cliche, but it really does work. Trust me. I know. I've tried it. I've done it. It does work. It's still working. Forgiveness is you walking to the baggage carousel of your soul, picking up that heavy suitcase, opening it, and telling some things or someone's, you're not coming on this next flight with me. This is your stop. You stop here. It stops here. Period. All right. Okay. Well, y'all, we made it. We made it to the end. I didn't give y'all any homework last week, but I just had you think about some things. I was going to do the same thing this week, but I feel like you might want to write this down because I don't want this trapped in your mind. I don't want this one trapped in your brain. And so I always say that it's important to write this stuff down so that you can be free from it yourself. The Lord is going to work on it. You also need to get free from it too. So I want you to grab something to write with, or grab your journal if you've been keeping a journal during this time. And I want you to name the wound. I want you to write down the situation or the person that still feels heavy when you think about them. And be honest. Be honest. I'm not reading it. You're the only one reading it, you and God. So be real. Be real with yourself. Set yourself free. And then I want you to be sure that you separate forgiveness from reconciliation. So after you have written down that person or the situation, I want you to answer these two questions regarding it. What does forgiving them look like in your heart? And then, does that relationship need to be reconciled? Or does it need to have a healthy distance. Maybe it just needs a full release. So think about that. Okay? So you're writing the situation down, you're writing the person down, and then you're asking yourself what forgiveness looks like in your heart. And then you're asking yourself if the relationship needs to be reconciled, keep a healthy distance, or a full release. And then, because we're not done, it doesn't stop there, I want you to take a moment to think about all that God has done since the offense. So like last week, we talked about gratitude, and I'm still on that because we can't be bitter and grateful at the same time. It's not possible. So I want you to make a gratitude list of at least 5 ways that God has kept you or grown you or blessed you since that hurt happened. Let your forgiveness be louder than your bitterness. Man. All right. Listen, I am so beside myself right now that I'ma just pray for all of us because, Lord, help. I'm telling you, about 98% of this was for me. And that other 2% is the intro and the outro. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to pray because I know that I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not the only one going through this. And so I'm going to just say a quick prayer for all of us because we need it. All right? Clear your heart and your mind for just a moment. Lord, I am choosing to forgive, even though it still hurts. Help me and help my heart to catch up to my decision to forgive them. Show me the boundaries that I need. Help me to release what I keep replaying in my mind. And don't let what they did to me be bigger in my mind than what you have done for me and what you're currently doing for me and what you want to do for me. I don't want to be blinded by offense. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Whew. Okay. Well, listen, thank you for joining me on this trip today. If today's episode on forgiving what's hard to forget resonated with you in any kind of way, please share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and then tell that friend to share it with a friend. If you're listening on your favorite platform, go ahead and drop a quick review or rating because it helps this message to reach others who may be ready to flourish as well. In fact, they may not even know that they're ready to flourish until this comes across their algorithm or until you send it to them. If you're new here, you may not know this, but I am a certified confidence and relational coach. So I have the ability to work with you one-on-one to build confidence in whatever area you may be struggling in, whether it be personally or relationally. My husband and I, we also coach marriage as well. So if that's something that you feel that you'd benefit from, hit me up. You can find more information on that at shaquanshow.com. Again, I'll have new episodes dropping every Tuesday, so be sure that you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast so that you don't miss an episode. Make sure you're following me on socials at Shaquan Show. I'm really easy to find so that we can keep this conversation going throughout the week. I would love to hear from y'all. I love hearing from y'all. Y'all don't DM me. Y'all actually hit me up personally, but I still appreciate it. Again, please share what any aha moments that you have, any revelations that come to mind, because your words just might be the key that unlocks freedom for someone else, to include me. So in the meantime and in between time, I can't wait for you to keep meeting you. And now that you've entered into the Shaquan Show, you have no choice but to grow. Peace.
Shaquan Show.